couple minutes ago, I just got done watching the Oscars, which just happened on March 2nd of 2025, going over the films that we saw last year. Some of them I've covered on my channel, some of them not. However, I'd say that I watched a good amount of these nominations, and I feel like it's about the time where we get to talk about them and kind of just recap about the movies that we watched last year. I do apologize really quick before continuing this video. I am a little bit under the weather. I don't know if I'm just sick or allergies or whatever, but I do apologize. I'm going to sound a little bit different in this video. Promise you I'm okay, just allergies, whatever. I may sound a little bit different, but we're back. We're going to get right into it. 2025 marks the very first year where Conan O'Brien is a host, which wasn't too bad for his first time. It's usually pulled out by Jimmy Kimmel. For his first time, there's a good amount of jokes, there's a lot amount of skits and everything, just a good amount of pacing. So overall, I liked it for that. What made this ironic, however, is that Conan O'Brien had this little segment about how we want to change the focus to going to the theaters and making that experience rather than streaming. However, on Hulu, if you watched the Oscars there, they did screw up and they apparently cut the stream too early and you weren't able to finish the live stream. And they cut off on the best part, so Best Actress was skipped as well as the Best Picture. And again, it was completely overlooked just because of the fact that you're calling out streaming service for, you know, this in-home service, and they completely screw up on Hulu. It's not a good look for them. There's also this little segment where Conan O'Brien calls out Drake for being the P word. I can't say it on YouTube just due to censorship, so I was very shocked to see that they were able to say this live on TV. And now, let's take a second and talk about the awards.
This is not a joke. This is not a joke. I'm afraid they read the wrong thing.
One of my favorite categories of the Oscars has always been animation. To tell a story is one thing, but to tell it through animation, there are millions of ways to tell a story. And sometimes animation might just be the only way for a story to be told. And thus, I feel like it's one of my favorite categories to always look at. And this year is no exception. So this was one of my first categories that were announced, and The Wild Robot, one of my favorite films of last year, a movie that I also talked about on my channel, did get a nomination but unfortunately did not get the award. The award ended up going to Flow, one of the movies that I've heard a lot about and I have not yet seen. However, just because of all the craze that I've been seeing online, it's definitely something that's been on my radar for a while now. So regardless, congratulations to all those that were nominated. I think it's an incredible category, and I genuinely excited to see more of animation. I want this category to do well. The Wild Robot ended up showing once again for original score later up in the show. They unfortunately did not win it and ended up going to Brutalist, which I think it's completely deserved. However, it does hurt a little bit for Wild Robot just creating such a unique and original soundtrack. This may or may not be an overreaction, and I apologize if it is, but I saw this movie called Emilia Perez last year and it got a nomination. I was very shocked to see how many nominations it got. I think it got to like 10, 11 or so. Very glad it didn't get that many awards. However, the nominations was shocking to me, the fact that I got that many. It's a rough movie. It's a French director talking about like Mexican culture. Everything about it is rough. I can't lie to you. Like, it is the singing that they break it to, the fact that this got an award for like music or whatever, original song. It's a rough ride, I can't lie to you, and it's a really rough movie to watch, so I was very shocked to see that. So you may or may not have seen these two movies or maybe clips about it. So if you haven't, let me just paint you the picture. In this category for music, you have two films, right? Emilia Perez as well as Wicked. Both of them are musicals, and both of them talk about songs, etc., things like that, right? Wicked has Ariana Grande, and her singing, her skills, all on display for this musical, right? Emilia Perez, on the other hand, has these really awkward sequences that randomly break into songs, and it just makes no sense. Like, it doesn't feel, it kind of just feels like we're taking into a completely different film, right? It's so abrupt, the way it starts, it's just so like random. I don't know what the decision was for these songs, but it's rough. I can't play it for copyright reasons, but I just want to paint you the picture. So I'm not exactly the biggest fan of musicals, so I usually skip them. However, I did watch Emilia Perez because of everything that I've been hearing online, and it is a rough watch. The way they break into these musicals is so like abrupt, and it feels so like just like they just decide to make it to a musical because they can. It doesn't even flow like into a musical. It kind of just like starts out of nowhere, and the options they chose, I don't even know what to say about this movie. The options they chose to make it to a musical is rough. For example, I can't play it because of copyright. There's a scene where they talk about the sex change that's going to happen, right? This could have been a regular scene, which is fine, right? However, what they decided to do was make it into a song. And the doctor literally asked them, they're like, hey, what do you want to know about? Blah, 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 things like that, right? And they're like, I want to know more about sex operation, things like that. It's literally like that. I don't know if you've seen the clips, but it is rough. And they're like, from man to woman to woman to man, from penis to vagina, things like that, right? And I was just like, what is going on in this film? Like, I was very confused. The fact that I got the awards it did, the fact that I got the nominations, I was very confused. I don't know why this is that. I tried my best to paint the picture, but it is a rough watch. Last year, there was a couple movies that I enjoyed. One of them is horror, and I usually don't typically do horror, and that's gonna be The Substance. I enjoyed this movie a lot, and I was actually very surprised because it's a category that I don't usually do. In fact, body horror is one of the genres of horror that I typically hate. It's not something I've enjoyed looking at. However, the story itself was really unique, and it's told in a very unique way that has been done before, but is very unique. So I did enjoy that for like the creative aspect of it, right? So the fact that it got a handful of nominations, however a lot less awards than I was hoping for, definitely shocked me a little bit. I can't lie to you. So that was definitely, I would say, the sleeper pick of the Oscars, just because I feel like it's a movie that a lot of people enjoyed, but it didn't get the awards that I thought it was going to get. Up next, we have actresses in a leading role, which the award ended up going to Maggie Madison, which I think is completely deserved. However, Demi Moore in The Substance was incredible. I think she did a really good performance. However, I think for this one, I'm kind of going to lead to Maggie Madison, only because of the fact that we rely more on her just acting by herself. And I feel like she did a million times better than Demi Moore. However, nothing against her. I think both movies were incredible. But I think if we were looking at just from the acting standpoint, I think Maggie Madison really fucking killed her role for Nora. So for our very last category, we have the Best Picture, starting with Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I Don't Know How That Got There, I'm Still Here, The Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. The award ended up going to Anora, which I think is completely deserved. However, I did see a lot of posts following the Oscars that not a lot of people were happy with the choices that were given, etc., things like that. I also don't know how Emilia Perez got there as well. For The Substance, I did see a lot of posts online that were rooting for The Substance to win a Best Picture. However, it is a horror film, and horror film usually does get looked over at for Best Picture, so unfortunately that was probably out of the loop as soon as I got nominated. But Nora, that's a film I saw last year and I really liked. I feel like it tells a story about the way it's told. It's a very like heart-wrenching story about, love, betrayal, things like that. And it covers in a story that's very unique and very like, I think Sean Baker could only succeed by telling this kind of story. He has made similar stories involving like that sort of industry. However, I feel like Anora might have just been his like magnum opus to tell this unique story, and I really liked it a lot. So overall, really happy with the choice with who ended up getting Best Picture. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was there any pick in general that stood out to you that was surprised didn't get an award? I think overall it's a really good like award show. I think every single movie deserved or got some sort of award. Anora did end up sweeping in a sort of way, which I think received the most amount of awards. Emilia Perez definitely should have not have gotten any at all, but it's okay. When it's the Oscars, it is what it is. But yeah, keep me updated. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I appreciate every single one of you for watching. I just want to talk about this really quick, as we did cover some of these films in my YouTube channel. So I think it's only fair to talk about the Oscars as a whole. Once again, we're very close to hitting 1,000 subscribers, so thank you so much for the support. I appreciate every single one of you. I will catch you on the next video. For now, peace, take care, and I hope you all have a great one. Peace.